Oh, looks like the computer is upgrading today. For whatever reason, it looks like this Windows 10 is upgrading to some kind of creative stuff. I guess more artistic features and stuff like that. Again, I always hate it when things like this upgrade. I'm always worried about compatibility issues. And of course, usually the video driver stuff is the first thing to go, like wonkers and all that. Speaking of videos, I was actually thinking of getting this plugin for my Premiere Pro, which is what I use to like edit videos and stuff. Yeah, so apparently this film convert's supposed to make like color correcting stuff like a lot easier. Like I got a coupon and stuff, so I thought maybe I'd get it. Does it make the process easier? I don't know, does anyone else there actually use this? Again, anything to make the flow and stuff a lot easier is good in my books, so maybe I will get it. Although there's not much to actually for me to try out that's new, so if I do get it, I'd be trying it out on the old footage that I've created so far. Because apparently they actually do have like a Mavic Pro profile and all that, which is kind of interesting. There actually was a wide variety of news I saw. Everything ranging from, what is it, that marijuana bill or whatever being passed here, the lawyer for that United Airlines doctor. There's one about this NES Classic stop being sold, US bombings. Seems like, oh, it's all over the place today with the news and all that. And I do want to test that sun hood and stuff more because, as you all know, I was basically carrying it, and because I can't actually fly it legally just based on like the current interim laws, as you all know. So again though, like for me, before I bought things like that, I never actually seen people do like stress tests on those type of sun hoods. I think one of the goofiest and most interesting news I read today was something about this Burger King ad. I don't know if you guys seen it. What they did basically was they created a YouTube video, and it was only 15 seconds. So essentially they can't have a full commercial. And what the person did was they said, Google, what is like a Whopper? And because of that voice command, and a lot of people have like Google Home and stuff like that, this basically activates the product to automatically search Wikipedia for a description of what the item is, because it thinks the user was requesting it. So it was kind of an interesting advertising technique. Now apparently this made a lot of people mad because they call it like ad hacking and all that. And apparently another interesting thing is Burger King somehow they got to edit their Wikipedia description, so it actually, when it read out the description, it was very ad-like. Or maybe it's new to other people, but in terms of like say tech or gamer crowds and stuff like that, that's actually pretty a common prank. Although it makes me wonder when people use like GoPros and stuff that have the voice commands, whether or not stuff like that happens often as pranks as well. Is that a smart move or a dumb move from the company? Some people are saying it's bad advertising and so forth, but from what I see, they seem to be getting a lot of exposure over this. So maybe in that sense, it's a job well done for their marketer, though I can see how it makes a lot of people mad like that. And I think the most confusing thing I read today is this article where it said here, Transport Canada defends loosening rules for aircraft pilots. I'll link the article below and stuff like that. Although it's not related to drones specifically, I think it's still nonetheless related because it deals with aircraft safety and all that. And reading this article just makes me wonder again, these drone laws make absolutely no sense in many ways. Oh, and it's starting to rain a bit, so I get to test out the new umbrella. But yeah, anyways, for this, basically, to my understanding, again, I'm not a pilot or anything, so I don't really know how things work usually. But I think normally, when a person renews their license and so forth, like just to make sure they're like fit to fly and all that, essentially you have to fly like in a plane normally. And if I'm understanding this correctly, they're changing it to you can simply use like a flight simulator as a way to say like, okay, you're perfectly fit to fly. From what I gather, Transport Canada is defending this is because they're saying the simulators are actually very advanced. They give pilots various scenarios to test them thoroughly. So in that sense, they're saying it's just as good as flying an actual plane, I suppose. And again, apparently a lot of people are countering this point, saying I guess that's not true in many ways. Again, I'm not a pilot, so I don't really know how it is normally, like with people when people practice flying to get approved, whether or not that is the case. The only thing I can relate with, I guess, is that true? For example, driving a car. Would it make sense saying a driving simulator for a car is the same thing as driving an actual car, if that makes sense? Now, speaking for myself, in terms of even playing things like, say, a very sophisticated video game, it's not the same thing, even if it's really realistic. Or at the same time, like even flying the drones when I first started, I was actually a person who did do those simulators, like on the DJI Go app. And while it's okay to learn the basic controls, it is nothing in many ways like flying outside and getting the experience. It's just completely different when you have it in your hands, flying, trying to be aware of your surroundings. It's just not the same thing. Especially if these simulators are strictly, say, 2D, like you're just looking at a flat screen versus a full 3D virtual experience. That's completely different, I think. In some ways, it might be exactly the same, but I would assume things like flying, there's a lot of stress involved when you're actually flying for real. I mean, I would relate it probably to a situation like you might be able to talk in front of, like, say, the mirror or the TV, or to an individual through an online video conference or whatever, but to put you on the stage and actually talk in front of, you know, hundreds and millions of people, like right in front of your face, that's completely different. It takes a different skill set and it takes a different type of practice, in my opinion, to develop that kind of skill. Now, an actual pilot can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll go by the assumption right now that those simulators aren't the same thing as flying an actual airplane. And it really made me think, like with Transport Canada and Mark Arnault, like when it comes to drones, whatever happened to the narrative of when it comes to safety, he believes there's no such thing as overkill. Like for this, didn't you technically make it easier? Like if anything, if I was to follow the same mindset and narrative, I've been reading an article here too, like apparently in Alberta they were drunk or something like that. So if safety is really a priority and there's no such thing as an overkill, wouldn't you now introduce even more laws saying like for a pilot you now have to be screened every month, so to speak, questioning them about their alcohol intake? So why are you so relaxed? I mean, somebody help me out here. I mean, here you have a real incident with a real problem, and yet you're more laxed on the rules. But when it comes to, like, say, flying a drone somewhere like here, a 250 gram drone, for example, you're expecting people to phone 911, banning it from huge distance from people. Like, what's going on here? Yeah, I guess the weather agrees with me because the sun's coming out. This is actually how I got that awesome drone footage before. It was like raining all day, and then all of a sudden the sun comes out. There was actually another interesting part about that. I talked about budget and how apparently there was budget cuts in Transport Canada, and they were trying to reassure people that that has nothing to do with them making the laws, or it affects in any way their ability, I guess, to make the laws. I mean, that's actually one thing I was thinking about last time, if you guys remember, because in my opinion, I mean, is there honestly anyone who believes all this drone stuff, like the laws, the interim laws, are all about, quote, safety? Because to me, with facts that are presented there so far, it just doesn't seem to be the case. It's inconsistent, it's contradicting compared to everything else that's happening. So it does make me think in many ways the only reason why these laws were thrown out is because they're, say, understaffed, and so they just threw something stupid out there saying, we don't want to deal with it, so here we go. I actually think articles like these are newsworthy in terms of the drone laws too, because it's things like this, the inconsistency, I think people need to be more aware of. Like even with the privacy stuff, for example, which again, I'm not a lawyer or anything, even if it doesn't directly affect the laws getting changed right away, I think it has an impact to kind of show the public these guys are like way over their heads in terms of trying to make laws for things that they don't really understand, or worst case scenario, if it is about budgets, things they don't want to deal with, even though technically that's your job. And again, is there actually anyone out there that still believes this is all about safety and why they pumped out these last minute laws? In my opinion, it just shows again, they basically spent virtually no time in many ways when they came up with these. All right, other than that, so I got a lot of stuff to do. I'll probably look at that film convert software because again, it might be a good investment. All right, see you guys later.